What is up, guys? It's Aaron, the trucking guy, and we're going to talk about it. When will the freight market pick up? All right, so let's look at a couple different publications. One I saw come from, if you Google it, Alan Bear, CEO of OL, participated in a review that told CNBC 24 has little to no growth in the first half of the year. It's going to be stable, if not downward pricing. All right. Coyote says Q4 might pick up next year. Truck industry's forecast for next year outlook remains very soft. Freight Waves, everybody's always quoting Freight Waves. Freight Waves says that Q2 and 24 may have the upper hand in negotiations with shippers at that time. However, conditions may not improve until Q2, Q3 of next year. So what does that mean? It means through the rest of the winter, spring, maybe even through summer that we're going to be just dreading it, guys. We're going to be going through it. So you have to get prepared. You got to get ready. Now's the time to cut costs. If your insurance is too high, try to get into a situation where you can change insurance companies, negotiate that price a little bit cheaper. Pay attention to where you're buying fuel, if you can. Try to see if you can, if you have certain rates and they're cutting your rates. If you're using load boards, try to negotiate everything you can, get better at negotiating. But even if you get better at negotiating, get better at sales, you're still going to have a lot of brokers balk at giving you any more money, paying any more money. So you're just going to keep trying. But you do got to, try to stay in the game. Trucking is cyclical, which means it's always went up and down. It's always going to have some sort of cycle. We're definitely on a down cycle right now. It's happened before. When I came into the game, it was tough. And we made it through it. Things got better. Here they are again, getting worse. We've had some ups and downs. COVID was rough, things like that. So, people that have been in it a while, like we have, a decade, understand the ups and downs, and they've learned to deal with it. Some of them are still here fighting every day. Some of them aren't. Some of them that, kind of prepared for the downtime, they were ready for it, and they were, kind of assuming that it would happen. They're doing better than others right now. Not everybody's in that same boat. I would definitely say stop being so picky on what you're used to doing. Obviously, do everything you can to not hire in your definition or haul in your definition cheap freight. So make sure you know your cost per mile. Make sure you're packing a lunch if you can and not eating out all the time. Get into something specialized. Now might actually be the time to lease on to a bigger carrier who has direct sales if they're taking people, who has a bigger fuel discount, because they have the buying power, who has the maintenance, the cheaper tires, things like that you can get access to. Fuel surcharges, if you can get them. A lot of cases you can't get them right now, but if you can, leasing onto a company like that will definitely help you out. Rather than going on your own. It doesn't mean you got to shut your thing down. Maybe try to keep it at idle, and then come back to it when time picks back up. Right. That may be what you have to do in these down times. You may have to make some concessions of things that you wouldn't normally do in order to just stay in the game and maintain a profit. Everybody's got to, be profitable. Everybody's got to make it make sense. Right now would be a good time to buy equipment if you have the money and you want to get equipment, cheap equipment out there right now. If you go online, you go on Facebook Marketplace, things like that. A lot of the YouTube videos right now, they're talking about downtime. I mean, even all the big influencers are saying loads aren't paying what they used to paying. If that's the case, I heard one pan and Specialized usually pays 14 today. They were offering it for $5,000-$6,000. They're completely crazy, right? Some of the loads that you guys may even be, seeing, the brokers are getting hurt because the customers are hurt. And so you can't just blame it on the brokers that they're taking all the money. Now, we are in a market that is more of a broker market. Last year, years prior, we were in a carrier market where the truck could kind of dictate a little bit of the price. They had a little bit more control. So the brokers and customers had to pay more. Well, not only are they getting that back and reaping the benefits of that now, it's a broker customer market. And the customers kind of got caught on to what was going on before, and they see what's going on. So they're in control now, and they're the ones dictating the prices. You can be mad at the brokers all you want, but a lot of the situations, and from a broker standpoint, because we have a brokerage and I've made, a couple thousand phone calls, they're either not taking new carriers, or they don't have an excess book of business and they're working with the same ones they've been working for 10 or 15 years. So it's tough to, get in there. It's very, very difficult to be a broker in general. It's extremely difficult. As much as you guys hate them, as from the carrier's perspective, it's a necessity, because somebody's got to sit down every day and do that and make 50 calls a day, 250 calls a week, 1,000 calls a month, and end up making as many as you can to get one customer, and that customer may not stay, and you don't know how much transportation spend they have, right? So it might be 100,000, it might be $1 million a year, right? So in that quarter, you got to sit and think, okay, can we make enough money? Is this profitable? Is being a broker, for as difficult as it is, profitable, right? Because a carrier can go out there and work for a broker and deal with the things that they deal with in order to make a profit. But being a broker it's extremely difficult. And you just have to realize that if they can't sell because the customers don't have anything to move, or they're tight, or they don't have any extra capacity or extra work to do, then it's just going to trickle all the way down. There's going to be sitting trucks. The availability or supply of the freight that's out there is going to be competitively sought after, which means the prices go down, right? Anytime you have more capacity and you have less supply, it's supply and demand and economics in anything that you do. So it doesn't matter what type of business it is. It's very simple. If there's too many trucks, not enough loads, it gets competitive. Things get tough, and they're like, hey, I can get this cheaper done here. I can get it cheaper here. Well, you can always get it cheaper, right? Doesn't mean they're going to get the best service. But the downside of that is, guys, is that for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, 3 months till that guy's tires go bald or they get impounded or whatever, they're going to get that load done cheaper from somebody who's unethical or doesn't run logs or what. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always going to be somebody at the bottom who's willing to cut corners so that they can compete at a level that you can't. You don't want to find yourself there. You want to try to get into something specialized. Whether you're doing oversized freight, you're doing reefer freight, you're doing hazmat freight, whatever it is, some sort of specialized thing. Stuff going to the port, get TWIC card. Stuff going across the borders, get a passport. Whatever it is, you need to get something. It doesn't matter what it is, something that's going to differentiate you so that you can demand a little bit of a premium. But again, right now, I think is the time to try to make collaborations, partner or lease on with somebody that has access to a big fuel discount, access to, fuel surcharges that you should be getting. The smaller freights can't get them. The brokers won't give them to us, right? So you have to get, there's certain lanes, guys, that I wanted to get into. Certain accounts that you can't get into being small. They're sewed up by the TMCs of the world. They're sewed up by the Landstar's of the world. They're sewed up, and they're never going to work with the mom and pops. They're just not. It doesn't make any sense for them business-wise to work with people who have 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or even 20 trucks. They just want to work with a bigger company who, can at the end of the day send in their company trucks or their owner operators and or broker it out if they need to. So, and they've had that relationship for 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. So they're not going to deviate from things that have worked for that long. So you have to realize that and realize as much as you dislike brokers, they're not going anywhere, but it would probably make more sense long-term for you to partner or collaborate with a company that already has sales, already has back office, cheaper insurance, things like that, rather than go out on your own or try to start a new thing right now. If you already have a thing going, how can you implement a bunch of things that are going to help you recruit those people? But again, it doesn't look like as far as the next few months or the next 2 quarters, it's going to get any better. In fact, some of these articles are saying it might get worse. FreightWaves is a great source. CNBC, I don't know about that so much, how much they really know about it. Even Trucking Made Successful, the trucking market, when will it improve, right? The capacity looks like we have too much capacity. And then what's going to happen, guys, is so many people are going out. So many trucks are going out that eventually it's going to flip. And when it flips, there's not going to be enough capacity for the demand. And then there'll be a bunch of new people getting in. So if you can maintain right now and you can stay and you can hold what you got and get to the other side of it, you're probably going to be able to see success. Just not right now. It might be a year away. We don't know how the political environment's going to change. We don't know how the economy is going to change. We don't know how, what's laid out with the future is going to change things in the industry. But eventually, just like anything in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, it will get better. Now, not everybody can hang on for that time frame, but if you can try every day, even if you have to go get back in a truck or do whatever you have to do to make it work. That's our mentality. I think that's everybody's mentality. We're going to continue to just service the customers and the brokers that we have relationships with, build new ones every day that we can, and do everything we can to level up, get credentials, get better, and move forward. But from the way it looks, the market's not getting any better anytime soon. They're talking well into next year. It's going to be very, very tough. The beginning of the year may be brutal, they're saying in some of these articles. So go look them up. You can look up FreightWaves. I mean, just Google them. You can look up, Commercial Carrier Journal, Fleet Owner. It's saying that, it's cooling off the demand. The recession corners off in 23. Expect little to mild gains or a flatline curve next year. What carriers should expect in drive-in and reefer. They're releasing statistics that the freight rates, the forecast predicts that the spot market rate, may not look that great next year. So that's 2 cents from the trucking guy. You guys can go find it. I definitely think do everything you can to level up in this downtime and to work on yourself, learn, get the credentials, strengthen that hustle muscle, and add everything you can to your arsenal so that when time does springboard you back up, it's time to level up and do what you need to do. And then you'll have everything you need to really capitalize on that moment. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.